Give me the finger. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi. We're in the Parshas Shoftim. Now, Shoftim has 41 mitzvahs, and the next Sedra has 74 mitzvahs, the maximum. Let's learn a few things about Shoftim, and then continue the questions and answers on Chodesh Elul, because last week we did some of the questions of Chodesh Elul, and now we'll finish the questions and answers of Chodesh Elul. You can find them on TorahAnytime.com. Top of my name, right there, you go to the header, and you look down, it says, Ani Ma'amin, and then the Q&A on Chodesh Elul. And a week before Rosh Hashanah, we'll have the Q&A on Rosh Hashanah. And after Rosh Hashanah, immediately we have Q&A on Yom Kippur. And immediately after Yom Kippur, we'll have the Q&A on Sukkot. And then we wait a few months, and then we have a Q&A on Chanukah. And after Chanukah becomes a sort of a Tebes, the Tanis. After that comes Purim. Okay, now let's learn a few minutes on Shoftim, and then we'll go into Chodesh Elul. We'll continue the questions. There's so many things in Shoftim, we have to pick one thing. Let's pick one thing. The Indian of Egla Arufa, the egel, the calf that you chop off its head with an axe. If you find a dead body outside of the city, a Jewish dead body, and you don't know who the killer is, the case of the unknown killer. What do you do? You can't kill the perpetrator, you don't know who he is. How does the body, the victim, have menucha? You have to kill the perpetrator, otherwise the body has no menucha. Let's take a look. And the end of Shoftim. Ki yimotzei cholol, if you find a corpse, ba'adomo on the ground, not hanging from a tree, not in the water, not under the ground, on the ground, cholol, he's not mutilated, killed, he's just dead. The inside of him is chal, hollow, there's no neshama. Ashia Hashem lekecha no send l'chol, the land that God gave you, the rishto for inheritance, no fail, falling, basod, he fell in the field, dead. Somebody killed him. Maybe he had a heart attack. No, you must notice that some way he was killed. Lo noda mihi kohu, you don't know who killed him. But Yosef Zakein, so your Zakeinim come out of the town, the elders of that town. V'shoftim, v'shoftecha, and the judges, 5 people. Zakein written with extra yud at the end, plural, 2 minimum. V'shoftecha, and judges, elders and judges, 2 and 2 is 4, and you can't have it even. Bezdin, so you need 5, 1 to make it even, not even. 5 is odd number. You know that all you need is 70 people for a Sanhedrin Gedolah, but you add 1 more to make it not even. So if they vote, there could never be a tie. Everybody must vote, guilty or innocent. Everybody must vote. No dissenting votes. And therefore, it can never be a tie because you have 71. And the smaller felony Bezdin of 22 is enough, but you can't be even, so you add 1, make it 23. And the smaller Bezdin of civil matters has to be 2, but you can't make it even, so you make it 3. So there should never be a tie. Anyhow, v'yotzu z'kein necho v'shoftecha, 2 and 2 is 4 plus 5. U'madadu, and they measure from the person's head to the closest city. Madus el ha'arim, which city around him. Asher sevivo sechola, or which are around the dead body. Asher, the same letters as Rosh. Resh, Aleph, Shin, Resh. You measure from his head. And from the part of his head that the life stopped, that's the nose. From the nose to the closest city, and those people in the city have to come out and declare they didn't mistreat this man who came to town. They didn't mistreat this orech, the stranger. Of Ahoy Hoyer Hakrova, in the city that's closer, El Hacholol, to the corpse. Velakhu Zikne Hoyer, that the elders of the city take. Eglas Bakar, a young calf, less than 1 year old. Egel is less than 1 year. Yeah, it's called a heifer. The parah aduma is not a red heifer. Parah got to be 3 years. Parah is older than 3, can't be a heifer. Anyone who translated heifer never was on the farm for 1 day, because the heifer is a little calf that didn't have any children. A 3-year cow has a lot of children, not an offspring. A heifer cannot be a red heifer. There's no such thing in English language. Heifer, yeah, heifer, but not the parah aduma. That's 3. Parah is an older egel. An egel means dafka after 1 year, less than 1 year. It's an egel, a heifer. But the red heifer, there's no such word, because a parah can't be a heifer. The person who wrote it didn't know English. It has to be doctor 3 years older than paraduma. 3 or older, it just has to be less than 1. Egels as a cave. They cave eglas bakar, a little cave. Asher la'ubad ba, that never had worked, never had any saddle on it or worked or reins. Asher lo mashka ba'ol, never pulled the yoke. V'hori do zikna ear, and the elders of the city bring them down. Haki of that city, hahi el es egla the calf el nachal esan, to a barren valley or a riverbed there where nothing ever grew. Asher lo yeh oved bo lo yizor, and never nobody was built anything there, nothing was planted there. But arfu sham, they chop his head off with an axe from the back. As egla balachal, in the valley. But nog sheniksha hakohanim, and the kohanim, the bnei Levi who come from Levi, come kibam. Every town has some kohanim, and the bezdin has to have a kohen, because the head of the bezdin is always the kohen gadol. Kibam bacha Hashem v'lekecha l'shar. So God chose these kohanim to serve. V'levarach v'shem Hashem, to bless the people in God's name. V'alpiyam yir kol ribbon ogan. They will decide the final vote is from the kohen gadol. The ab bezdin is the kohen gadol. And all the elders of the city, of that city, hakrovim eloklos, that's closest to the corpse. Yechatzu as yedem, they wash their hands. Al ha'egla, on the egla, that's only a mashal. The egel was that ha'arafu, that they chopped his head off the nocha. They say, we didn't spill this blood. This man, if he came to our town, because we're the closest town, we treated him, we ate him, we fed him, we gave him food and drink and place to sleep, and then we were malava him, we walked him out of town, we were malava him this orech, and we gave him food for the derech. We did 5 things to him. We gave him achila, shtia, and lina, sleep, and we malava, walked him out this orech, the stranger, and we gave him food for the derech. 5 things. That's why it says, Yodeinu, our hands, lo shavchu, did not spill. As I don't, we're not responsible. We treat them like decent orech. But the word shavchu is written with a hey, and we write it shavcho, but we read it shavchu. Our hands. Nobody in this city mistreated this man, but they wrote it ksiv as shavcho, but they read it shavchu because the pshat is shavchu. But the drasha is shavcho. Our 5 fingers didn't touch him. We didn't hurt him, and we did 5 things for him: achila, shtia, lina, halava'a, and food for the derech. And we never saw the man before, but when if he came to town, we didn't mistreat him. Please atone for the Jewish Amcha Yisrael, for the nation Yisrael. Please God, this man's blood is, we don't know who the perpetrator is. Asher Padiso, that you redeemed Hashem, Atiten Dam Noki, and don't let this innocent blood be carried of Amcha Yisrael. Don't blame us for this. And God answers these 3 words, and your blood will, the kaper lahem, the blood of the egla arufa, will atone for the blood of this man. And you, Tavayr Hadom Hanoki, will wipe out this innocent blood, Mikir Bechal, from amongst you. Kitasa Yosh Be'en Hashem, if you do the right thing in God's eyes. That's the end of Shoftim. Now let's discuss this. You find a corpse, a Jewish man, someone killed him, and you don't know who. You go to the elders of the closest city, and you say, do you know this man? We don't know him, we never met him, but if he came here, we didn't mistreat him, we're sure of that. We know how to treat Orchim. So why do you take a calf and kill it with an axe? What's the connection? Why not a sheep or goat? Why a calf? Why? But kill with an axe? Why not shecht him? And how does that atone for the blood of the man? Rabbi, you have to know something. When any Jew is killed, you must kill the perpetrator. That's how the blood of the innocent victim is atoned for. Blood for blood. If you don't know who the perpetrator is, you kill a calf. What's the connection? Why a calf? Why kill an animal? Why with an axe? Why from the back of the head? There's 5 animals that the Torah says should be ritually killed without shechita. One is egla arufa, with an axe. Number 2, petach hamar, the firstborn donkey that a Jew has. You got to sell the firstborn donkey and take the money and buy a sheep and give it to the Kohen. If not, the Bezdin comes and chops off the head of the donkey, of the firstborn. And it's called Peter Chamor. You lose the value of that donkey or of that firstborn. Then comes Malika's carbon oath. When you have a carbon oath, if it's a chatos or an oath, you take the Kohen has a big fingernail on the right thumb, and he punches it through the back of the neck of the bird and kills him without shchita. So the Egla Rufa doesn't have any shchita. Petach Hamor doesn't have any shchita, it's an axe. Malika's korban, oaf, chatos or olam, fingernail. Then comes Sharhan, Seir Ha, Lazazel, that you throw down the mountain over the cliff on Yom Kippur. Doesn't have shchita, but it has to be done. And Shar Haniskel, a person has a wild bull that doesn't control and he kills somebody. You have to stone the shar instead of stoning the owner. He didn't do it, but it's like stoning the owner. You stone the animal. So there's 5 types of karbanos that are killed without shchita. One is Egla Rufa with an axe outside in the building in a valley. Petach Hamor, on the Peter, the firstborn of the firstborn a donkey, you chop his head off with an axe. Malika's oath with the fingernail carbon oath. Seir halazozel, the goat on Yom Kippur, you throw him over a mountain. And Shar Haniskel, the stone ox. What does this all mean? All these 5 are for. There's one more, but that's shechted. That's the part of Duma. Shechted outside there of the base of Migdash, outside Yerushalayim, on Hara over there, Hara Mishka, Hara Zaysim, half a mile away. But that's shechted. There's 5 animals, sort of kabbanos, that are no shechita. You know why? It all has to do with sorei ayin, stinginess, not looking at another person as a valuable creature. Egla Arufa, if they didn't treat this Orech who came to town with decency and courtesy, you're cheap when it comes to Orechim. You don't care where he sleeps, where he eats, if he leaves town with your best wishes, encouragement, the poor man, or if he has food or not. It comes usually that someone wanted to attack you, and the people, you came from a town who didn't care about you, didn't let you sleep somewhere, didn't care where you slept, didn't give you food, didn't malab you, didn't walk with you or send you on your way. They didn't think you're a valuable person. They're sorei ayin, they're stingy people. Their looks at other people as not valuable. So when someone attacked him, he didn't fight back with all his confidence. He lost confidence. So you have to bring an egla rufa because you are a tsar ayin, you're a stingy, selfish person. Petach Hamor, you want to cheat the Kohen. You don't want to sell the firstborn donkey for a sheep and give the sheep to the Kohen. You're a cheap person. Malika's korban ha'of, you don't want to bring a bull and a cow or a sheep or a goat or you bring a cheap korban, a bird. You have sorry ayin, you're a cheap person. That's why you kill it without shechita. Seir halazozel, you throw that goat over the cliff on Yom Kippur, because that mechaper for all the averos between man and man. Why do people rob each other, steal each other, lie to each other, hurt each other? Why? Because they don't think another person is valuable. Sorei ayin, they're stingy with their other people's value. And then comes Shor Haniskel. You don't care if you're wild, untamed animal, the muad, the one that gored 3 times already. You don't lock him up with a proper chain and put him in a big barn. You let him loose and he kills somebody. You don't consider another person valuable. It all comes to sorry ayin. You don't deserve shechita, which is how a carbon is shechted. You kill him with an axe disrespectfully because you're disrespectful to other people. Now, why do you use an egel for this case here? The first egel, thousands of people died because they worshipped what the Egyptians worshipped. They weren't appreciative. They had sorei ayin that God took them out of Egypt. Bring an egel. This is also a type of cheapness, but another human being. Don't treat him with the greatest respect. You bring an egel that caused that because people are not appreciative to God, they made an egel. the tzarei ayin. That you bring an egel, and you don't shecht it. You chop its head off. The Ben Bachai says, you know what they did? If the people were zoche, big tzaddikim, they took the axe and they tapped it on the back of the neck. They tapped it. And the egla, arufa, well, the egla was not arufa, but the egel ran straight to the perpetrator's house. Now, lo b'shamayim, the Torah is not in heaven. You have to decide by Bezdin. So they didn't indict him because it ran to his house. They ask him, where were you, when were you, how were you, and they question him and 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 question him, because they know he is the perpetrator, but they can't possibly him to Misa, because Torah is not in Shemaim. It wasn't Shemaim, it was given to man. It's up to Bezdin to decide. They question him and put the pressure on him till he admits it. Then he admits it, we execute him. Interesting. If they're Zocha. If they're not Zocha, they kill this Egel, and at that moment the neshama of the dead man goes to Shemayim. Before that is hovering between Shemayim and Oretz. It's like a shade, like a dibuk. It has no menucha until you kill the Egel, which represents that perpetrator, even if you don't know who he is. When the moment you kill the Egel, you are killing the neshama of the perpetrator wherever he is. He'll probably die, the perpetrator, from heaven, because this is a heavenly thing. Okay, Rabbi Isai, enough for Shoftim. Let's continue the questions on, there's a lot to talk about, but let's continue the questions on Chodesh Elul. Last time I think we went up to questions, there's 22 questions, I think we went up to 15. Why isn't Rosh Hashanah the first day of the year? It's the first day of the 7th month. Oh, it's the first day of the calendar year, but it's not the first day of the Jewish year. The Jewish year starts in the first month, Nisan. This is the first day of the 7th month. Why isn't the Rosh Hashanah the first day of the year? It is the first day of the creation year, because God made the world in Tishrei. But because Adam was made on the 6th day of creation, and that's why it's the 6th day of creation, that is Rosh Hashanah. And you say Hayom Harazolu, today's the birthday of the world, right? Don't you say that on Rosh Hashanah? Every time you blow the shofar 3 times, Hayom Harazolu, today's the birthday of the world. Hayom, the day Adam Rishon was created, was a Friday. That was the first day of Tishrei. Before that came 6 days. Actually, Adam was made on the 6th day. The next day was Shabbos. So he was made on the last day of creation, and after the sun set on Friday, the world slowed down. Shabbos, rest. The sunrise was only once every 24 hours. Before that, the 6 days could have been millions of years. 24 hours each day, but millions of years. How do you know? Because it says on the first day God made light, but then on the 4th day God made light, made the sun and the moon, so it happened to be 2 lights. So the Chizkuni says that Or was not light, it was time. He created time. And there was Tohu Vavohu for thousands, millions of years. And then finally, Hashem made the 6 days, this whole universe, billions of stars and planets, and then he said it should rest. Now the world is 5771 from that first Shabbos. The 6 days of creation is added to that. We don't know how many years they were, maybe millions of years. So the Ramban had a Talmud, Rabbi Yosef Yaakov Me'akov. He said that every day of the creation days was 7,000 years. So Friday, 6 times 7,000. Adam was made when the world was 42,000 years old. This is the Ramban. That's a long time ago, 700 years ago. Then someone came and said, no, it's more than that. It is every day was 7,000 years times 365 and a quarter. That's how many days there are in a year. 365 and a quarter. If you take 365 and a quarter times 7,000 times 6 times, you get to 15 billion. That's exactly how many years in the Big Bang. So the Big Bang is 100% correct. Except the world is not 15 billion years old. The world is 5,771. Plus 6 days of creation were a highly accelerated time. Because you see things happen. It says that Adam went to sleep, 2 people and 4 people got up out of the bed on one day, Friday. It was Adam and Chava, next day Chaim and Hevel were there. How did it happen one day? And it says he knew his way, forgave his wife after 132 years. That was still in the 6th day. Everything was happening on that Friday. So anyhow, so let's take a look at that again. Question number: why isn't Rosh Hashanah the first day of the year? So we say it's the first day of creation year, but not the first day of the Jewish holiday year. In our calendar, it is the first day of the 7th month. Now, when was the world created? In Tishrei, right? In Tishrei, right? Right? You agree with that? So how come every 28 years you say Birchas Achama on Nisan, the 4th day of Nisan, when the word of the sun was on the 4th day of the week? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, he made the Yom Rabbi, he made the Or HaGadol, the sun and the moon. That was the 4th day, and we go out every 28 years in Nisan, the 4th day of Nisan. 2 years ago was there. I don't know how the 4th day of Nisan 2 years ago came out to be Erev Pesach, but that's another subject altogether. Anyhow, so God thought about it in Tishrei, and 6 months later he made it in Nisan. Physically made it. He thought about it. So what God thinks about is made. That God is thinking about this world. That's why you and me exist. Yom Hashem Yihor. Who did you say to? There's no one here. But Yom Hashem thought it up. We are nothing but a figment in God's imagination, the entire universe. When he stops thinking, everything stops. And he says, Vayomer Novel Beliebo, the pervert says in his heart, Ain't Elohim, there's no God. So you see, Vayomer means thinking. Vayomer Elohim Yihor should be our light. But it wasn't the light we know. Different order. Anyhow, God physically made the world in Nisan. But he thought about making in Tishrei. And what God thinks is like making, the same thing. And there's a whole first 10 blot of Rosh Hashanah about this. When was the world actually made? Proof is it's made in Nisan, because every 28 years on the 4th day of Nisan, because the world was made on the first day of Nisan, and the 4th day was the sun and the moon. And then and that's the day every 28 years we make a bracha. Must have been the 4th day of Nisan. It comes out, because Achamo and Nisan. Never, no other month. Number 16. Why don't Sfardim say Tashlech? Maybe they do, but the real Sfardim don't. Because it's not a Sfardim minhag. Why don't we say Slichot every day of the month? Because it's not an Ashkenaz minhag. We say it a few days before Rosh Hashanah. Why do we blow shofar every morning and they don't? Because it's an Ashkenaz minhag to blow shofar, not their minhag. It's only a minhag to blow or not to blow. Why don't Sfardim do kaporas b'tarnagol? Kapora with the chicken? Woo, that's a very good question. Because the Mechaber, the Maharan, the author of the Shulchan Aruch, of Yosef Karo, considers it a Gentile ritual, so you should not do that. Wipe it out, it's a Geisha minhag. But according to the Ramah, who we paskin by, all the Ashkenazim, he says, we're forbidden to change this minhag. Ein asur l'shanos. It's an ancient minhag, don't you dare change it. So the Mechaber says, don't do it, and they're right. For Sfardim, not. We have to do it. Ein l'shanos, don't you dare change his old minhag. It's extremely ancient and unchangeable. So they have their minhagim, we have ours. And they should do what their Maharan tells them, we do what the Ramah tells us. The Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah never dispute about Ikarim, main principles, only about minhagim, this minhag, that minhag. That's all right. 18. Shofar is gematria of 586. Dinei Shofar in the Shulchan Aruch is in 586. Is this just a coincidence? Or not? Because it is not coincidental. Rabbi Yaakov Emden Zatzal brings down that this is a proof that the Shulchan Aruch was written by Ruach HaKodesh. Look it up over there, you'll see. Shofar 19. Why don't we blow shofar on Erev Rosh Hashanah? To separate between a minhag and a mitzvah. And to confuse the Satan. Confuse the Satan. He'll say, they blew the shofar the whole month. It must be over Rosh Hashanah, so I can leave them alone and go away. I won't stand on Rosh Hashanah and try to attack them. I won't be mekatreg against them. Because Rosh Hashanah must be over, and it's all over, and so why should I be up tomorrow and tell the Kadosh Baruch Hu, you want to be nice to these people? You know what they did? This and this and this and this and this. Now, Rabbi Sai, we're not children. What do you mean you're mevalvel the Yetzer Hara, the Satan? What do you mean? What do you mean? He wasn't there last year? He doesn't know how the system works? What do you mean? You're going to mevalbel the Satan? You're going to fool him? What are you talking about? The Satan, the Yetzer Hara, that's you. You're going to say like this. You know, I blow shofar every day, a minute. I shofar talk over here, you blow a shofar in a town, no one is afraid. You're worried about Rosh Hashanah. You're worried about Rosh Hashanah. You're going to do tshuva the whole month with slichas. And then it comes Erev Rosh Hashanah, you stop because you did complete tshuva, you fasted, and now you're completely confident that God will forgive you. That confuses the Yetzer Hara. Because the Yom Hadin is coming, but Hashem says if you do tshuva every day in the month of Chodesh Elul, Dirsha Hashem Behimot, so search out God when He's close. The month of Elul, He's very close. And early in the morning, during the night, the Shekhinah hovers over many worlds. And the earliest morning, right before sunrise, He hovers over this world. Therefore, you have to say Slichas B'Ashmoris HaBoker, not after sunrise, before Alos HaShachar. You finished at 6 a.m. You start at 4:30, that's right. And you're 5, and you finish by 5:30. Alos HaShachar. 7:20 is Letzachamo. You don't start at 7 o'clock. That's why the old Slichos books, I have one, 150 years old, has wax all over it. The people held a candle. There's no light 150 years ago. I got an old Slichos. They came in, it was pitch black, 4:30. 5:30 they were finished. Then came Alos HaShachar. And then came sunrise after that, 42 minutes. You have the Dirsha Hashem Behimot, so the whole month of El, or every morning when it's early. So if you did that for a whole month, you are confident that God will forgive you, and therefore Rosh Hashanah, the day of judgment, you shave and you take a haircut and you shave and you come in the finest clothes. You're not worried a bit. In fact, the tekiyas, the miyushav, the original 30 tekiyas were blown when you were sitting down. You were confident. You had done your duty for a month. Something is not going to hurt you. He can't say anything. That means you confuse the Satan. They're so confident they did tshuva for all their averos. I can't accuse them. They are confident. That's why you sit down. Now we don't do it anymore because we're not doing tshuva really right on the Elul. But they used to sit down. Tekiyas to Miyushav. They're called the first tekiyas before Musa. You sit down because they were confident they did their job. In old Ayeki Kehillas, everybody stands, like the whole world stands, by two people sit down. Those who are holding the Sefer Torah. That reminds us of the ancient minhag, that everybody sat down. They were totally did tshuva for a month. They're not worried a bit about it. They shave and they shower and a haircut and wear perfect clothes. They know tomorrow's going to go easy. That confuses the Satan. There's nothing to complain about. They have done tshuva. That's confusing to the Satan. And also, it confuses you. It changes you up. Suppose the day before Rosh Hashanah you don't hear shofar. You say, "Oh, my goodness, did Rosh Hashanah pass? Oh my God, I have 24 hours left. Maybe I should do tshuva. It's over? No more shofar. It's over. Rosh Hashanah is over. No, we have 1 more hour, 24 hours more to do tshuva. That confuses you, the Satan in you, your Yetzer Hara, to maybe get it in the last day. Maybe it sounds like it's over because the rest of the year you don't blow shofar. It's like your Rosh Hashanah is over. No, it's going to be tomorrow, the Rosh Hashanah. You got 24 hours. That confuses this. You, the Satan Haras. You're Satan. Who wants to tell you it's all right, you'll be all right, you don't have to do tshuva. That means disturbing the Satan. Number 20. Why do we fast the first day of Slichas and on Erev Rosh Hashanah? We actually fast 4 days, which is the first day of Slichas, Erev Rosh Hashanah, Tzom Gedalia, the day after Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur. Because you really should fast the 10 days of Tshuva. In Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur is 10 days, right? You should fast 10 days. But you can't. 4 days are missing. 2 days Rosh Hashanah you can't fast. Tzom Gedalia, 2 days Rosh Hashanah you can't fast. Shabbos, Shuvah, and Erev Yom Kippur you're not allowed to fast. 4 days, you got to make it up. So how do you make it up? You fast the first day of Slichas, Erev Rosh Hashanah, Tzom Gedalia, and Yom Kippur. Make up for 4. And then the other 6 days you fast, half a day. That's 10 days. To simulate the 4 days that a carbon is watched before it's sacrificed. You have 4 days, you watch it. Before you sacrifice, you have to watch yourself too for 4 days. Check yourself out. It says by Sukkot, take for yourself a lulav and esek on the first day. It's the 15th day. No, it's the first day that you might do Aveiros, because the 4 days between Yom Kippur and Sukkot, you're not doing any Aveiros, you're busy building a Sukkah. The Kaktim Chem Yom Rishon. You Rishon the Cheshvan Aveiros, because now Sukkot, you're meeting everybody, socializing, the Sukkot's built, the lulav is all up, you maybe socialize and do things you're not allowed to do. First day for Cheshvan Aveiros, but they learn it differently. The Kaktim Chem Yom Rishon. Take a hold of yourself. The first day of the year, Rosh Hashanah. Take a hold of yourself. Or Rishon means the day before the first day. Rishon doesn't have to mean first, it means the day before. It says by Chometz. Tashpisu Sa'ar, Ach B'Yom Rishon, only in the first day, Tashpisu, you must remove Sa'ar leaven from your house. First day of Sukkot, you can't, Pesach, you can't remove it. Chometz, got to be taken out before Pesach. Ach B'Yom Rishon, the day before Pesach. Rishon means the first day before. There's other proofs that Rishon means the day before. So take a hold of yourself on the first day of the year. It means Erev Rosh Hashanah. Do tshuva. 20. 21. Why do we tovel? Why do we go tovel, Erev Rosh Hashanah? Why do we tovel? To simulate the rebirth and a new beginning. Everybody should tovel, even men and women. Even women should be tovel Erev Rosh Hashanah. 22. Why don't we say Birchas HaChodesh on the Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh Tishrei? Rosh Chodesh Tishrei is Rosh Hashanah. Why don't you say the Shabbos before Birchas HaChodesh? Like every Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh. And Rosh Chodesh of Tishrei is Rosh Hashanah. To confuse the Satan again. Don't let him know that this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, this year it happened to be Thursday, there's going to be don't let him know about it. Confuse him, which means you're asking Shul, why don't we mention Birchas HaChodesh today? No, we don't want to inform the Satan, so we'll get ready to complain against us on Rosh Hashanah, which means yourself. Why don't we mention? There's not going to be a Rosh Hashanah this week. I mean, it's over. I missed it. That confuses you, shocks you into tshuva. To accuse the Satan, that's one reason why we don't say Birchas HaChodesh on the Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh Tishrei, which is Rosh Hashanah. Why? And number two, Rosh Chodesh is called a mini Yom Kippur. Don't you say in Musaf of every Rosh Chodesh Zaman Kapara, a day of atonement? The Chol told those some for all the future generations. Every Erev the Rosh Chodesh is Yom Kippur Katan. Every Erev Rosh Chodesh is Yom Kippur Katan. So, which is mercy. Kapara is a day of atonement. Yom Adin is not mercy. Yom Kippur is mercy. That's Rachamim. Then Rosh Hashanah is Din, strict justice. And Rosh Hashanah is a time of total judgment. How could you say, how could you have, why don't we say Birchas HaChodesh on the Shabbos before Rosh Chodesh Tishrei? Because Birchas HaChodesh on Rosh Chodesh, because Rosh Chodesh is a time of Kapara. And this Rosh Chodesh, Tishrei, which is Rosh Hashanah, is not Kapara. It's not atonement, it's Din. So it doesn't fit for this particular Shabbos to say the Rosh Chodesh is coming, and on Rosh Chodesh and Musaf you say Zaman Kapara, and Rosh Hashanah is not a time Kapara. So you have a time of Din, two different opposites, black and white. Din means the judge told you, you're Chaim Misa. Now you got 10 days to appeal. That's Rachamim, Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashanah is Din. There's no Rachamim. So how could you denounce Rosh Chodesh is coming? Rosh Chodesh, you don't say anything on Rosh Hashanah about Rosh Chodesh. Never, not a word. You don't announce that to Rosh Chodesh. You just call it Rosh Hashanah. Okay, Rabbi Isai Kasiva Chasima Tova. I wish everybody a good Gebench Diyar. That's what Ashkenazim say. But Sfardim say, Tizku Shanim Rabot. You should be Zoche for many, many more years. We're finished with Parshas Shoftim, and with the question here, with all the questions. And Baruch Hashem, we hope to see you next week. No?